Child rearing. Problems arise from adding, but solutions are found in subtracting. Every parent shares the same desire to raise their children well. That is why broadcasting stations worldwide are flooded with programs offering parenting solutions. However, a bizarre phenomenon exists in Korean parenting shows. In a country where personal data protection laws are so strict, even extreme cases where a child assaults their parents are broadcast with both the child's and the parents' faces completely exposed to the public. For the parents, solving the child-rearing issue is a more urgent task than protecting their child's human rights. And the child, too, takes the risk of exposing their face out of a desperate need to resolve their inner suffering. But is the desperation of that young heart truly being properly rewarded? If the child fails to receive substantial healing through the broadcast, they are forced to live with the nationwide stigma of being an immoral child who beats their parents. Even though they sacrifice their personal information, which should have been fiercely protected, all they get in return is a cruel social burial and deepened inner wounds. The essence of family conflict lies in the child's inner stress. When the massive external stress of the public eye is added to this, the situation is bound to deteriorate. Appearing on television essentially adds an enormous extra burden of stress. The production team might have secured high ratings by sensationally directing a family's ruin and crisis, but it is hard to erase the suspicion that this ultimately caused a family to sink. It is too heavy a reality to brush off simply as someone else's business on TV, considering what that child must be facing right now. In that specific broadcast, the child confessed that at the age of 7, they were physically abused by their parents while learning to read, because they were struggling to grasp it. This behavior likely stemmed from the parents' anxiety that their child might fall behind others. However, this parenting attitude commits two fatal errors. The first is the arrogance of believing that parental authority justifies controlling a child through physical beatings. The second is the cruelty of crushing a child's soul under the pretext of preparing them for a good university in this harsh world. What is even more serious is the show's attitude toward this issue. The production team gave the parents a free pass for this violent situation by saying, "Of course, the mother must love the child." Naturally, the concept of love can differ from person to person. However, as a public broadcast, it should have drawn a firm line, unequivocally stating that a parenting attitude accompanied by violence must never be glorified under the name of love. If they had the power to intervene in another family's affairs and broadcast it, they should have established at least a basic humanistic standard regarding the boundary between violence and love. In the end, the solution the production team offered for this profound tragedy was merely the phrase, "You are a precious being." The reason this irresponsible and flimsy conclusion is so lamentable is that the desperate eyes of the child staring into the camera evoke a profound sense of shame in any adult watching. Under the pretext of raising children well, we constantly try to add things: excessive education, suffocating control, and parental anxiety. But the tragedy of parenting always begins with this adding. The only key to solving the problem lies in subtracting. We must subtract parental arrogance, subtract excessive anxiety, and subtract violence disguised as love. Parenting by subtraction, which means accepting and looking at the child exactly as they are, is the true starting point for resolving conflicts.